NYYST. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Swinging for the fences, knock it out the park. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Christian and Chris, of course SGR. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Homie, New York, Yankee sports talk. Record, rain or shine, grab your shades and umbrellas. NYYST, you're hanging with the fellas.
Oh, welcome back. This is episode 399 of the NYYST podcast. We are live on NYY Underground. I am your host, Christian. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Chris.
You.
I don't know why I say joined by. It's really joined with.
No, you switched it up tonight just now.
I
you
did?
Added an extra word, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
As always, joined by my, I don't know.
Oh.
You added an extra word for sure.
Well, it would have been nice if the Yankees could have added an extra win to the series, but they didn't. They, again, failed to meet the task at hand, and that is defeat the Baltimore Orioles. They got bludgeoned today. If you were a wrestling fan and you saw the debut of the Wyatt Six on Raw on Monday, that's basically what happened to the Yankees today. Just left dead and bloodied in their own ballpark. It was pretty embarrassing to sit there and watch. It was a bad omen from the jump when Juan Soto has that ball hit right to him and misses it. It was a 95% catch probability. I mean, if you're one of these people that thinks everything's still sunshine and rainbows, I don't know what to tell you. It's not going to be a fun episode tonight. But before we jump into everything here, please make sure you are subscribed to the NYYST podcast. We are on your favorite podcast platform. Don't miss any episodes. We do have audio exclusive shows throughout the course of the season. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything. Make sure you're telling everybody we are the official Yankees podcast of Odyssey. And if you're in the chat tonight, please like this video and subscribe to NYY Underground. Make sure you get your tickets for NYY Underground Day in September. Okay?
Okay.
So, after Tuesday's game, you felt like the Yankees had it pretty easy. They win. You know, you had the scare with Judge, but then you heard late at night that no break, day to day, it'd be fine. Just find a way to pick up one of these two games. And you had Gerrit Cole and Luis Gil on the mound. Find a way to pick up one of these two games. And the Yankees were unable to do that. They're now 2-5 against the team that they're going to be fighting tooth and nail with all season long for the American League East. Don't show me the standings because I don't care. The Yankees are a second-place team. They have more losses than the Baltimore Orioles. Spare me we have more. Stop. I'm a loss column guy. That's the way it is. That's the way it's always going to be. The Yankees have 26 losses. Baltimore has 25. That's all that matters to me. Baltimore came into Yankee Stadium and kicked the snot out of the Yankees. That's all that matters to me. So right now, if you had to rank a hierarchy of teams in the American League, the Yankees are second behind the Baltimore Orioles, and that was proven again this week in the Bronx.
Remember when your mic used to face your mouth?
Yeah.
It doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. Since I got the new desk, this is the way it's set up. Is
really?
It bothering?
It doesn't turn.
I don't know. Does this bother you? Does this bother you?
I just want to hear you a little better because
you can't hear me.
No, I can hear you. It's not just you, man. It like you always say it like I'm a loss column guy. That's not it. It is the loss column. It's not you're a loss column guy.
Well, I had somebody that told me he's been watching baseball
guy
since before I was born, and he's never bought into the loss column. I've been arguing with people like that all week. So,
well, then you're a fucking idiot, is what you are. If you're not looking at the loss column, because wins can be made up, guys. Losses can't.
That's the whole point. At the end of the day, that you can always get more wins to close the gap if the team in front of you has games on hand. You can never have less losses. So if the Yankees have 26 losses, they can never have 25 losses, which Baltimore has right now. So that puts the Yankees behind the Orioles. And even more, whatever you want to say, you're fudging the numbers to make an argument. I'm not, but whatever. The fact of the matter is that the Yankees look like a team that belonged on the same field with the Baltimore Orioles. But it's okay, guys. We almost won this series. We almost won. So it's okay. Please give me a fucking give me a break, please. You know, you want to call me the Yankee apologist, and you're gonna disagree with me 110% when we talk about Cole later, and that's completely fine. But give me a fucking break. This entire season is about the Yankees measuring up to the top teams in its league so they can win a World Series, and they haven't done it yet this year. And again, I'll go back to what I said when we talked about the Boston series. Am I concerned? No, because my level of concern is what they do at the trade deadline. So all that's happening right now is everything that I felt about this team is just being reinforced. They are not up to the level of the Baltimore Orioles. They are not a fully built, ready to go championship team. And every time they step on the field, that it is a litmus test for this team, they fail. So Brian Cashman, again, needs to look at this and understand my job is not complete. This team is not complete. There's a lot of work to be done for this ball club. And I'm not done. Like, people want to sit there and say, excuse me, like, the season's not over. No shit, Sherlock, the season's not fucking over. I never said that it was. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done on this ball club for them to get to their ultimate goal.
Well, I'll tell you what. We talked about the Yankees being exposed in Boston. The
Orioles were running free again this week.
Yeah, I mean, they were exposed even more here because, I mean, we'll probably dive into Luis Heel a little more later on.
I don't want to cut you off again, but I don't want to miss Raj Super Chat. He says, yes, life goes on, but today was an utter embarrassment. And that's exactly my sentiments. Tomorrow, we'll still be excited to watch the Yankees play the Atlanta Braves, but they got embarrassed today.
Yeah. For me, like, I'm sure we'll dive into Luis Heel, and I have a lot I want to discuss with him. But overall, I think what this series did is it kind of you talked about a hierarchy of teams in the East. I think we were
in the American League, really.
Yeah, I think you were able to, after this series, make a hierarchy of the true needs of this team to win a World Series. And a lot of people might argue starting pitching right now, but for me, I think two things took priority here.
Well, you have to be scared about the starting pitching right now.
Fine. Again,
a much more bigger concern than it was even a week ago.
Yes, fair. But that being said, I still think after the series, two things take priority over. I think starting pitching is third for me. Despite how bad Luis Heel was today and, you know, how concerning the rest of it was. I mean, for me,
it is a nice desk, okay?
Okay. For me, it's the bullpen and it's Trevino behind the plate. I mean, those two things for me are going to expose this team more than anything. Right? This bullpen is fucking it went from being great to good, back down to earth to fucking atrocious. I mean, disgusting, really. To not be able to lock down that game last night was disgusting, in my opinion.
Oh, well, Chris, it's soft contact.
Yeah, let's not even go there
soft
yet.
Contact.
Let's not go there yet.
Soft contact, okay? Okay, you want to say that Mullins didn't scorch that ball? Watch the pitch again. It was a fucking utterly disgusting pitch that he threw. That he's lucky Mullins didn't put that in the seat. Okay? You want to throw a rolling, breaking ball up there to a professional hitter? Play Holmes. Let's look at this. I got to go back and scroll this. I'm sorry, I don't have my stats in front of me. Nobody get triggered here, okay? And Clay Holmes' last 15 games. You ready for this? Because I know you saw it, but
I'm listening.
if you're in the chat and you haven't, Clay Holmes last 15 games, 13 and 2/3 pitching, and this comes from our boy Johnny Lasagna. 20 hits, 9 Ks, 5.93 ERA, and a 1.83 WHIP. That's in his last 15 games.
Yeah, he's good. Don't be concerned. Don't be a moron. There's fucking idiots I fight with online. Morons. And guess what? I invited the idiot on the show. I said, let's have an actual conversation. Let's not go back and forth on Twitter like a bunch of immature idiots. Let's actually talk about why Clay Holmes is an issue. And guess what happened then? I was ignored. You want to know why? Because these fucking idiots don't have anything to say. Because you want to talk to me about how Clay Holmes is great. I mean, we defended him last week. We ripped him as a closer, but we defended him overall. We said he was he was still a good reliever.
I still think he is a good reliever.
I'm not saying he's not.
I can't trust him.
But I got to be honest with you, man. After this fucking series, I'm way more concerned than I ever was. He was embarrassing. If you're here, look, sometimes things are just so simple, right? If you are I'm not saying you have to hate him. I'm not saying you have to even fight for him not to be a closer. You can still have the argument that he's a good closer.
Yeah,
and
I don't know how.
Hold on. But all I'm saying is I'll at least acknowledge you as someone who might be informed enough to respect your opinion. Because Clay Holmes overall, I think when he is great, he shows how dominant he can be and whatever. I'll have that conversation with you. But after this game, if you are sitting there defending him, if you're saying, oh, it's soft contact, oh, he's been so great and he should still, I don't respect you. I think you're a fucking idiot. I do. And I'm so sick of Yankee fans whose only goal is to defend this team. Look, when this team was awful last year, they still went out and defended them. And now that they're great, I think this team is great. It has its flaws, but every team does. They still want to defend the flaws. And that's when I can't respect you anymore. I'm not saying you're a bad person. I just think you're dumb. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. Dumb and bad person are not equivalent. I can still think you're a decent person. And maybe you're just dumb. Maybe you're just brainwashed. I don't know. But if you defend Clay Holmes after what you watched,
okay,
in
the jungle,
I like that. Okay, if you're still defending that performance, if you're making excuses, I'm sorry, pal. You're brainwashed.
Well, all you have to do is go back to Tuesday night. The Yankees were breezing to a 4-0 victory, but Clay Holmes was like, let me make you guys sweat this out here a little bit. Gives up a 2-run home run. You know, if anybody's going to blow a 4-0 lead in that spot, it's going to be Clay Holmes. I mean,
but Christian, if that's a 1-run game in October, you're fucked. I mean, that's how you have to look at that. We talked about Clay Holmes coming in a non-save situation there.
What did I say before the season started was my biggest concern?
I know.
Okay, so
you've been saying it from the beginning.
That's why everybody wants to join the party now. Oh, Michael K's talking about, the Yankees are 1-5 in extra inning games, and that's when you really need a strikeout pitcher in the bullpen to keep the runner from advancing. Thanks. I mean, here's the thing. Again, I don't want to be the guy that comes on here and goes toot toot, but join the party, bro. Not here to sit here and be like, oh, we're all negative and shit. But how do you not notice this stuff until it's a glaring problem? Our job is to sit here and dissect this team and pay attention to this team. If you're doing that, how do you not know already that all this stuff is a problem? That it takes losing 4 out of 6 to Boston and Baltimore for you to notice it? problems are still evident even in winning. That these things were noticeable. Nobody noticed that the Yankees, despite having such a good bullpen ERA, they don't strike anybody out. They can't strand runners. Trevino can't throw anybody out to save his life. Then you even hear it like on the broadcast. Well, that one's on the pitcher. They're taking fucking chances, regardless of whether it is on the pitcher or not. They're taking chances because they know Trevino can't throw anybody out. And yesterday, excuse me, I'm gonna have to get up and get something to drink in a second. They said that in the last 2 games Trevino started, 13 out of 14 base runners were successful. When did he throw anybody out?
I don't remember it. Maybe on a pickoff.
That's what I'm saying. When did he even catch anybody?
It's bad, man.
Look, all I want is the Yankees to win the World Series. That's all I want. I don't care how the hell they do it. I just want them to win. But you have to know that this team is not complete right now. So today sucked. Yeah. Nobody should be happy with what happened. Nobody should be out there tweeting, but damn, guys, we almost got them. We almost got them. No, they got embarrassed again at home in a big game. You want to sit there and break down what happened or didn't happen on Wednesday? That's fine. That's a game that if you want to say Aaron Judge plays, maybe they win, but they still had opportunities to win that game even without Aaron Judge.
They should have won. It's not they had opportunities. They should have won. That was one of the more frustrating losses I can remember. I mean, it was disgraceful. You have to win that game. Clay Holmes can't come out there and get a quick out and then fucking blow the game. And then Trevino can't throw a ball into left field. That can't. World Series contending teams do not do that. And if you think it's bad now and you want to make excuses now, it's just going to get worse. I'm not going to make excuses for this team. I'm just not. And look, at the end of the day, I joked with you earlier that I only had one thing to say, and it's true. I said it before the series, and I'm going to say it now. This team has had a handful, maybe less, of big series where the spotlight was on them, and it felt like a playoff atmosphere where this team had something to prove, and they haven't shown up. In this series, Tuesday night, they come out and they win. And I'm thinking, now's the time. Wednesday, they drop a heartbreaker. Okay. Not ready to throw in the towel yet. I'm going to give them Thursday. Maybe they'll come out and maybe they'll just fucking do what they got to do and come out with a series win. And not only do they lose, they get fucking embarrassed. Embarrassed.
Right, can you do me a favor, carry the show for 1 minute. I got to go take care of something.
Fine. They get embarrassed. And for me, again, I thought about it last week. They had the Dodgers. Then they had the Red Sox. They had the Orioles, their first series. This team hasn't shown up in series where the spotlight is on them. And other than that, they've been great. Other than that, you look at this team and you say they can win a World Series. But then in these games that feel like they feel playoff-like, they are so fucking lost. They're a shell of themselves. And it starts to concern you because when this team is on, they are dominant. When this team is on, they are the most fun I've ever had watching a Yankee team. But again, when the spotlight's on them, when it's national TV, when it's a rivalry, when it's the Dodgers, when it's the Orioles, when it's the Red Sox, they haven't shown up. And what does that make you feel like? What does it bring you back to? Everyone talks about nostalgia in a good way, but it's also, you can have nostalgia over bad things. And it just brings you back to the team that doesn't show up in October. And I don't get it. I mean, was it just me or did Soto look lost this series?
Yeah, there was something off about him, especially defensively. I don't know what his problem is.
And I'm sorry, I can't. Like, I love the guy. I fucking love him to
He's got to
death.
catch that ball. He has to. There's no excuse for him not catching it. You want again, look, bro. People think that it's easy to catch a line drive hit right at you, especially when the sun is glaring down at you. I'm not saying that, but that ball, you have to get the game started the right way there. I mean, come on. And then yesterday he did the same thing. Maybe not as egregious, but the same thing happened yesterday. Then he bobbles one that allowed them to get an extra base. I mean, the book on Soto is that he's not been good defensively throughout his career, and then we haven't seen that at all yet this season. But it was very noticeable in the last 2 days.
I think for me, like, yeah, that's noticeable. But for me, like, defensively, I'm really not worried about him. I think he looked off offensively, which we can't have.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, look, you can't make too much over a couple of games in 162
No,
over
you
whether
can't.
or not, in terms of guys offensively, because
Hold on. Let me just cut you off real quick. I just want to make it a point that I'm not trying to make a big deal out of a couple games. What I'm saying is I'm comparing these types of games to playoff atmosphere games. And for Soto not to show up, that's what I'm depending on. I'm depending on Soto to show up.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, it's also in that context, it is also June.
I don't care. Look, if the Yankees won a World Series a couple of years ago, and you want to give me it's only June excuse, that's fine.
No, it's not an excuse. It's 162 games. A guy doesn't play well.
Do I not?
Three
am
games.
I not a desperate fan right now? Are we not desperate?
So what are you trying
great?
to say? Juan Soto doesn't show up in the big moment? So
no,
what is the point of the conversation then?
The point of the conversation is that I'm trying to compare this to whenever the spotlight is on this team, they don't fucking show up. And I'm done with that. I'm fucking sick of that. I've been dealing with it for how many fucking
Juan Soto for?
Because he looked fucking awful.
Okay,
yeah. And I take shots at Aaron Judge in October because he's been fucking awful.
Okay, so when
I'm done with people being fucking awful.
For 18 in October, then you can take a shot at him.
Okay, but my point is, this feels like October right now, and they're not showing up. So what can I expect in October? I'm going to take what I have.
Did you see Juan Soto play in the World Series?
I love Juan Soto.
Okay,
I think
so
Juan
what are you
Soto
worried
is a
about?
superstar. I didn't say I'm worried. I'm comparing the big moments with this team because we all agree they can be great. I'm comparing when the spotlight has been on them.
Look,
when it feels like a playoff atmosphere, this team hasn't shown up. Not once.
But having Juan Soto catch strays for what happened this week is not fair, in my opinion.
I'm not giving Soto. I'm not.
Yeah, you are, though.
No, what I'm saying is overall, this team did not show up. And when this team doesn't show up, I'm expecting certain players to still show up.
Giancarlo Stanton showed up.
Okay, he's one of them too. Good for him.
Aaron Judge had a good series in the 2 games that he played.
Yeah.
Oh, you hate him. I forgot.
No, I don't agree with what the Yankees did, but sure.
Slim Lewis with the super chat. Bottom line, there's a lot of mediocre teams in baseball. The Yankees have won series versus first place teams, Cleveland, Seattle, Milwaukee, but they do need to improve. But those are not teams that they're gonna. The Yankees are better than those teams.
And I just want to make it clear.
I mean,
I'm not ripping Soto for having a bad series. He's allowed to go into a slump. I sat here 3-4 weeks ago and said, I don't care what he does. He's a Yankee for life. I fucking love this guy. He's absolutely unreal.
I think he tried to do anything to what it looked like to me was Soto was trying to do too much at the plate this year.
And how many times have we seen that in the postseason with every batter? That's my point. Stop trying to do too much. Be Juan Soto.
But if he walks, then people are like, "Oh, he
no,
walks 50
idiots.
He would go. He
Idiots.
wants $50 million, and all he does is walk.
Idiots. Idiots. Idiots say that. Good. If he's in a slump, I don't care. He's amazing. This guy should never put on another uniform
I'm just
for the
saying,
rest
of
of his
everything
life.
you want to complain about this week, Soto offensively, I mean, we shouldn't even be discussing this.
I'm not complaining about it. What I'm saying is my brain is going back to this team not showing up in big moments against teams they might face in the postseason.
They have one major league quality infielder. One.
Okay,
Let's talk about that instead.
fine. Let's talk about it. What are the Yankees going to do about it?
Well, I don't know. What are they going to do about it, Chris? Because fucking DJ LeMahieu is an OPS in the 400s. He sucks.
Everyone's talking about that Juan Soto, that I'm saying he's a problem. He's fucking amazing. This team isn't anywhere near where they are without him.
But he caught strays. You just say that you did it.
But guess what? Juan Soto is the first person who will throw himself under the bus after the series.
But
he's got to be better.
You want to take shots at what he did in the field the last 2 days? That's perfectly fair. He cost the Yankees runs that way. Absolutely did. You gotta be better in that regard. But he doesn't. Why? Because he doesn't hit a 400-foot home run this week. Now he's got to catch strays for it. I'm just saying. Let's move. It's just not worth the discussion right now.
All right. So who's the issue in the infield?
They all are, except for Volpe.
So what do you want to do about it? What do you think they will do about it?
Well, they're going to give Ben Rice a shot here in the interim. I mean, I was, you know what? I had heard that the Yankees were going strict platoon with him, and then he started on Wednesday against the lefty, and I thought he had some really good at bats. And against what the hell's the guy's name that pitched today? Can't think of his name right now. I don't think that was a lefty that they should have been worried about him facing, to be honest with you. I thought that's the type of guy that the Yankees, if Luis Gil doesn't bomb, the Yankees would have probably even been better against him today.
How many runs did
Irvin, that's right.
Cole. How many runs did Gil give up?
I think he was charged with 7.
Jesus Christ.
He gave up
how many?
Inning and a third. He gave up 7 runs total in his last 9 starts.
Not good. Not good.
Look, there's a lot of problems on this team. And again, people want to sit there and say, well, what? Look, I think we all knew that third base was a problem coming into the season. I also didn't put a big emphasis on it because I thought the offense could be carried in other ways. But it's become an ugly problem because of the lack of production you got out of first base and the fact that I think we all had, higher expectations for Gleyber Torres than what he's provided so far this year. I think Gleyber Torres should be embarrassed at the way he's played baseball this year. And he came out with a groin injury today. Boone said he doesn't think it's a big deal. Okay. But again, you look at Gleyber Torres, you look at, okay, Ben Rice just got here. We don't know what he could be. Maybe he'll get his feet under him. Maybe he can have a little bit of a hot streak here, a little pop from the left side. He's not really a first baseman, so you're going to see some defensive miscues there you're going to have to live with. DJ LeMahieu is terrible. Oswaldo Cabrera should not be playing baseball every day. I think this is all pretty simple stuff here. The Yankees need to go out there and see who can fill these holes here. Pete, before we were chatting, before we signed on here, is a guy like Brendan Donovan. Okay, I don't know what the Cardinals are thinking about doing, but even a guy like that whose OPS is in like the mid 700s, plays a couple of different positions. You don't need to bring in a superstar, just somebody that can be average. You can't be batting DJ LeMahieu every day when his OPS is in the 400s and he doesn't look like he has the ability anymore to even drive the ball.
Are we including Trevino in this conversation right now or no?
I think he's a separate conversation.
All right. So out of the 3 guys, who's your biggest concern? I think it became apparent this series.
With who?
With who is the biggest concern
It's still
out of the three?
probably LeMahieu.
For me, it's not even close. I think LeMahieu, I think he's done. I don't think that we can move on and say that he's ever going to be the guy that we thought he could be again.
Well,
is that fair? I don't want to offend anyone and take shots at people who don't who don't deserve shots to be taken. So I just want to know if that's fair.
No, I mean, look, I got into I don't want to say an argument. It was a civil discussion that I need to give DJ more time. And I'm just like, what has he done since 2020 that
No.
makes you think that he has more, that giving him more time is going to change anything?
No.
Because now he's getting
plenty of time.
He's been getting older. The injuries are piling up. He hit 243 last year. The guy looks like he has zero pop in his bat. Like zero. At least Glaber, I'll say one thing for Glaber, he'll run into one every once in a while.
And he had a couple sack fly RBIs where
you know for a fact that DJ LeMahieu is not going to hit the ball hard. He's going to bounce it into the ground, and if you have a runner on, it's going to be a double play.
And I know it's not fair because he had one good game against Boston, but he just doesn't look competitive up there anymore.
Yeah, Wambag Doodle says in the chat, Birdie's injury is bigger than people give it credit for, because this is a guy that he hit 290 last year. We know that we talked about the speed where he led baseball in steals in 2022. He's versatile. This is a guy that I thought if you gave him regular playing time, maybe the bat would come around. At least then you wouldn't have to play Cabrera and LeMahieu every day. You have to start eliminating options here. And the problem for the Yankees is even if they wanted to do that, they can go down into the minor leagues. And what? Last I saw a couple days ago, Oswald Peraza was batting 170. Caleb Durbin's on the IL. He's another guy that people wanted to see. So there's not many options really for the Yankees in the minor leagues right now. So they're going to have to, we talked about this last episode. They said this while the Yankees were on national TV last week against Boston. Everybody expects Brian Cashman to be aggressive. That doesn't mean making a big splash. Instead of the Yankees going after one big superstar, they need to make 4 or 5 shrewd maneuvers here. Give me 4 or 5 just solid Major League Baseball players over. Give me 4 Alex Verdugos over 1 Juan Soto at the trade deadline. Does that make more sense to you?
Yeah, but I think we have to kind of hone in a little bit. So if you're Brian Cashman right now and you
Can
watch,
I just stop you for 1 second? Because Sam in the chat is asking why Trevino's getting so much hate with a 115 OPS plus. We have never said a negative word about, well, recently anyway, about Trevino's bat. He cannot
unreal.
throw runners out. It is a huge problem. If you have not watched the last 2 series, I implore you to go back and watch the Yankees on defense Sunday night and then the last 2 days. They have 0, and when I say 0, I mean 0 respect for his arm. He is statistically the worst throwing catcher in baseball. That is not me being hyperbolic to make a point. Out of 60 qualified catchers in baseball, he is the slowest in terms of speed, throwing wise, to second base. Everybody knows it now, and they're exposing it. That is why Jose Trevino is getting so much hate. And yeah, guys, especially Gerrit Cole, love throwing to him. Guess what Gerrit Cole's going to get real fucking sick of pretty soon?
Runners fucking embarrassing him.
And Hirsch is right. Even Gary Sanchez threw runners out.
He had a great arm.
That was probably the only thing he did well defensively. But I was talking to my cousin about that the other day. Gary Sanchez had a fucking rocket back there. You didn't run on Gary Sanchez. And I don't know where the line is of what you would rather take, the pass balls versus not being able to throw somebody out. But I don't know right now. I think the Yankees are much more at a liability with Trevino's
way
arm
more.
than
It's
they
not
ever
close.
were than they ever were with Gary Sanchez behind the plate, not being able to keep the ball in front of him.
Well, look, I think it takes in a couple different factors here. The way the Yankee pitching is lined up right now, when you have guys who don't have swing and miss stuff, and you also have a catcher who can't throw runners out, and you have a handful of pitchers who, on any given day, don't really have the best command, it's a recipe for disaster. Like, when you have pitchers who don't have swing and miss stuff, especially when you get into the later innings and we're talking bullpen, that means that here and there, guys are going to get on. It's not even a question. And if you're telling me late in a game, guys are going to, whether it's soft contact or not, they're going to find ways to get on, and then they're going to fucking run all over them.
Somebody
It's
in
a
the chat said
problem.
we should have kept Higashioka.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, thank you.
No, I'm all right. Thanks.
All right, so back to what I was saying. If you're Brian Cashman, and we don't have to go like deep into this, it's just an easy, quick question. If you're Brian Cashman, I don't need to know the whole list, but what is your top priority right now, especially after this series?
They have to get bullpen help.
That's your number one.
It has been and still will be.
And okay, so let's go deeper into that then. Is it one big guy or is it a couple solid
If they
guys?
can go and get a legitimate closer, I don't know who's available.
Hold on.
What?
We have to listen to the people who gaslight. And here's why. The people we fight about Clay Holmes. Because those people align more with how the Yankees are going to play things. I don't think the Yankees think Clay Holmes is going to be an issue. I don't.
They're fooling themselves.
It's a big problem, but how many times have we sat here till we were blue in the face fighting over things, and the people who gaslight us are the ones who align more with how the Yankees do business? Am I wrong?
Look, if the Yankees want to leave Clay Holmes in the closer position, okay, that doesn't change anything. They need to go out and get a big arm that has strikeout stuff. I would prefer them go out and get two guys that they know can come in there, throw strikes, and can miss bats. That is the most important thing the Yankees need to do at this trade deadline, is to bring in two guys that miss bats. Everybody's like, oh, Scott Efros is coming back. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Guess what he doesn't do? He doesn't miss bats.
So who are those guys for you?
Again, I don't know. I'm not sitting there scouting teams right now. I just am identifying what the problem is. They need to bring in relievers that throw strikes and miss bats.
And
what's up, Mark? My boy, Luis Rengifo. I'm not even saying. And Tanner Scott at the deadline. Yankees didn't even face Burns and Rodriguez this series. Love the show. What's up, brother? Yeah, I mean, Rengifo, I think that's how you actually say it, is a good utility guy, bounces around the infield, would definitely be an improvement. And SGR had it first, man. Everybody loves Tanner Scott. Go get him. Go get him. Well, Scott Efros is not back. He went on a rehab assignment. He's rehab assignment.
That's something too that we should really talk about. The Orioles are really vulnerable right now. Their starting pitching is really questionable.
They didn't even throw their two best guys, and they still came in here and won the series.
They didn't even throw their two best guys, and we still got embarrassed.
But we almost won. We almost won.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Look, dude, for me, people want to rip me this show about my Soto comments. It's not about Soto. It's not about Judge. It's not about the individual player. It's more about the feeling that I get in my gut, in my heart, of watching this team in big moments in October and just falling flat. And again, I'll say it again. First series against Baltimore, embarrassed. Then they had the series against the Dodgers, lose. Then Boston. Kind of a big series, whether they're still rivals or not. Lose. Then we say, okay, it's Baltimore. Time to get back. Embarrassed. That doesn't make me feel good. So if I pick on Juan Soto, I'm not trying to pick on Juan Soto.
No, you did. You picked on him.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? You know I'm not actually picking on him. I love him. We need him.
Okay, we're spending way too much time on Juan Soto right now. No,
I'm not even but I'm not talking about Juan Soto. If you'd listen to me.
Okay, so move off of it.
I'm not talking about Juan Soto.
You're the one that brought him up. Let's move on, please.
No, I'm saying in a bigger picture, I can't keep having this team not show up. How many more years can we go with this team not showing up? You might say it's June. I don't give a fuck what month it is. This team hasn't shown up in how many years?
Okay. When Juan Soto goes 1 for 18 in the American League Division Series,
I'm not talking about Juan Soto.
You are talking about Juan Soto.
Not.
The team didn't show up. They have not won any big. Anytime they stepped up in competition this year, they've lost. That's and
it's no individual's fault except for the team itself. So when is that going to change? Is a bullpen guy going to change that? I don't think so.
So then don't do anything.
So what is it then?
So don't do anything then.
I thought this team was different.
I think they can be different.
So when are they going to be different?
Hopefully
What's going to make them different?
A bullpen arm.
Because everyone wants to fucking focus on one little thing I said, but I'm talking the truth here. When is this team going to show up? Did this not feel like the team we watched get fucking demolished by the Houston Astros? They got fucking embarrassed today.
Nobody's saying that they did.
A World Series team doesn't get embarrassed like that. Okay. I'm sorry. I will speak the truth. I will not fucking make excuses like 99% of the other people here. A World Series team doesn't go out today against a division rival and lose what, 17-5?
Okay.
That's embarrassing.
Nobody said it wasn't.
So what's the difference?
Where's
the difference? A bullpen guy?
You also had a starting pitcher give you 4 outs today.
Yeah, fucking embarrassing.
Okay?
Embarrassing.
A guy that we knew that was going to fold at some point this season.
All I'm saying is it's not just one move anymore. And that's a fucking big problem.
I never said it was just one move. You asked me what my biggest problem was. You want to start firing people?
Because you want to know why?
Go fire them.
Because I'm so sick of, we talk about 2022. Oh, they were so fucking great. What happened then? They got fucking embarrassed. They got embarrassed just like they got embarrassed today.
Okay, they got embarrassed.
And it's going to happen again.
Right. Absolutely. There's no point in watching the season. Right?
Because what you do and what a lot of other people want to do is they want to focus in on me talking shit about one person when I really wasn't.
You brought him up.
Now I only brought him up to paint a bigger picture that this team has a problem showing up in the big moment.
Okay.
And we can talk about this team beating up on all these other teams. And they don't show up in the big moment.
Calm down. You have a point. I'm not saying that you don't. But you went after Juan Soto.
I love him. I'm in love with him. I have a man crush on him.
Okay, but you did. I think he's exempt from the conversation.
For right now, I'll agree.
So say you're sorry to Juan Soto.
I love you, Juan. I'm sorry.
Okay. Relax yourself, okay? I am telling you this because it's how I feel. This team can win a World Series if they clean up some holes.
Agreed.
And coming into the season, did I sit there and tell you that the Yankees were the best team in baseball? No, I didn't. I thought Baltimore was better than them. And since the teams have squared off against each other, Baltimore has proven to be better than the Yankees. But two things can be true at the same time. We talk about that all the time on this show. I can still tell you that I've seen enough out of this team throughout the first however many games that they played that there is something special inside of them if they are able to overcome
Agreed.
what is failing them right now. And that is that they need help in that bullpen. If the Yankees had a better bullpen, they win on Wednesday night. I don't care what anybody, you can argue till you're blue in the face. They have better guys come. Excuse me. They have somebody better coming out of the bullpen than Clay Holmes. They probably win. Most likely do win on Wednesday night.
Better than Clay Holmes, you said?
Yeah.
He's our
Chris-
star closer.
Crackle Nut says, Chris, say I apologize, Mr. Soto. And
I
Slugs.
did.
And that's me. Am I the one that should be
I did apologize.
you did.
I have to apologize to my daughter's friend, apparently, Gianna.
Why people don't curse in her house?
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, well, you know what? Your parents should curse more.
Yeah, I think they curse plenty.
Okay, so
I know them personally.
okay, so what are we worried about
Very
here?
high cursing couple.
What holes have somebody's asking in the chat, what has to be fixed? I don't know. What are you paying attention? You're not paying attention to the show? They need help in the bullpen. Their corner infielders are terrible. They need starting pitching. I've been saying this for months now. If you ask me what is the one thing that if I could fix it, would I fix? It's the bullpen. I think that is going to hold them back more than anything. Is this bullpen?
When did that switch? Like for a while, it was the best bullpen in baseball.
Well, really,
when did that get?
They really let a few guys go, which we all thought was fair in some spots.
Yeah, but even through the season, over a couple month and a half, the bullpen was performing above what we expected.
That many things can't be fixed at the deadline. Brian Cashman can't acquire 2 pitchers and an infielder at the deadline. He can't do it. It's impossible.
He can. I just don't think it's realistic.
He did it in one fucking trade deadline 6 years ago, however long it was, when he got Tommy Kahnle, Todd Frazier, and Sonny Gray. He did it. Tell me he can't do it, because he can. The Yankees can do anything that they want to do. Brian Cashman can do anything that he wants to do. Pay the fucking price and do it. Teams are going to be out for blood with the Yankees at this trade deadline. And guess what, Brian? You cannot let your pride get in the way of that, because you have a team that can be special. You have the 2 best players in baseball in your lineup, or 2 of the best players in baseball in your lineup. Your fucking horse, the best pitcher in baseball, just returned to your rotation. And you had a scare with him that you might have lost him all the entire season. Stop kicking the can down the road and saying, no, enough is enough now. You don't make a trade for Juan Soto to go to just dip your toe in the water. You have to dive in the fucking ocean now, pal.
Yep.
You didn't want to trade Dylan Cease or Corbin Burns because, damn, bro, we can't trade Spencer Jones. Fuck that shit, okay? I know that's not the most eloquent way to put something, but fuck it, dude.
I agree.
If you have the missing piece, and again, I know there's several pieces that need to be fixed, but if you have the one shiny object that you know can fix a major hole, you gotta go for it, man. Because as much as we sit here and tell you that we think or we feel that Soto's coming back, you don't know.
And even if he does, that I don't feel as strongly about next year's team as I do this year's right now. Look, I can rip this team after a really tough series and still feel like something is special about them. There's something special about this team. Whether they have the same or better or worse record than they did in 2022, it doesn't matter. There's something different about this team.
You want to know why? Wash Donaldson's not here. Aaron Hicks isn't here.
Right.
Juan Soto is here. Anthony Volpe is here.
But
and who started the game-winning or the game-tying rally in the 9th inning yesterday? I'll hang up and listen.
I know.
You can look at that kid's overall numbers, but please don't tell me that kid does not show up in the moment. And
Listen.
I'm telling you right now, Yankee fans do not, despite the Gold Glove, they do not give that kid the respect he deserves for being an elite shortstop.
He's phenomenal. And but my point is, or is going to be, you mentioned Donaldson. We don't have Hicks. We don't have Donaldson. The problem for me right now is we're starting to get those guys, right? DJ's becoming a guy like Donaldson for me, right? You're starting to feel there's certain holes in this offense. You know, we're talking
Yeah,
corner
but nobody
infielder.
liked Wash Donaldson from Jump Street.
Yeah, but I don't give a fuck if I like you or not. I never
No, I'm saying nobody liked
Right.
that from the
Fine.
beginning.
But my point is, whether I like Donaldson or not, if he showed up,
Okay. Yeah, Gunnar Henderson is better. Who the fuck cares? I'm talking about Anthony Volpe. Let's show the kid the respect he deserves.
right?
So what?
He's
Gunnar
been
Henderson.
amazing.
Gunnar Henderson is better. Great. I'm not debating that. I'm talking about giving Anthony Volpe his respect.
You almost said Rizzo. My point is, you mentioned in 2022, you know, we had Wash Donaldson, we had Aaron Hicks. I don't want to have those players anymore. DJ LeMahieu is becoming one of those players. Anthony Rizzo, as much as I love him, is becoming one of those players.
Well,
And when I say one of those players, I'm not saying that we don't like them. I love DJ. I love Rizzo. But when I talk one of those players, I'm talking about a guy who you look at on the screen and you say, he looks old. He doesn't look like he's meant to be here anymore. The team needs to move on from that.
Well, unfortunately, DJ has a long-term contract, so I don't know what they're going to move on from. He's the one guy that they're going to try to get something out of because they kind of have to.
How? How are you getting anything out of DJ?
Okay, you want them to cut bait, and then you're going to complain. I'm not saying you wanted them to cut bait, DFA him. Okay, I'm not going to argue that he belongs on the team because he doesn't. Right now, he's a hindrance to this team. He doesn't make the Yankees better. So I'm not going to sit here and argue for DJ LeMahieu being on the Yankees. Even though, again, not going back and saying I wouldn't have signed him because I wanted the Yankees to sign him. I'm not going back and say, oh, geez, I would. Right? Whatever.
No, at the time, it was the move to make.
But here's the point. The Yankees did not do certain things because of where they were at the tax threshold this year, right? Guess part of the reason why they're in that situation that they are in is because they released Aaron Hicks and are paying him to sit at home and do whatever the fuck he does with himself now. They're still paying Wash Donaldson even though he's retired. So you want to sit there and tell me that you want to eat $50 million of DJ LeMahieu's money over the next 3 years. Okay? But then don't get upset when the Yankees don't do certain things because that money is counting against their payroll. It's the same thing that people can't get through their fucking heads about Giancarlo Stanton. And he's actually been good this year.
He's been great. He hasn't just been good. He's been great. I think his batting average is over 240 now.
Pete Alonso, yeah, somebody's asking in the chat about Pete Alonso. I take it, honestly, as a rental, I'd fucking go for it.
I fucking hate his guts, but he wouldn't make the team worse.
I don't see how he could. He's got 45, 50 home run power.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that can go the other way. No,
his guts.
He's a fucking doofus, bro.
He's a goofball. He's a fucking idiot. I hate him. But at this point, I'm desperate, dude. I'm desperate. I'm like a fucking homeless man on a corner, and you fucking spit on a slice of pizza and lick it and hand it to me, and I'm taking it. I'll take it. I'm desperate right now. I need something. This team is, and I'm only so emotional and so passionate because this team is different. This team, in my opinion, has what it takes. Look, 2017 was the closest that we got, but we were playing with house money all year. We weren't supposed to be there.
No, the Yankees, this is a completely different year. This is a year the Yankees have to win.
Yeah, we're back in the driver's seat. This is a year where you can taste it. You look at the guys that are put into this lineup and playing every day, and you can taste it. You know that this team has what it takes. You know that pre-trade deadline, you're able to pinpoint certain moves that can be made that makes this team amazing. And that's why I feel the way I feel right now. Because, in my opinion, this team shouldn't have come out at home against Baltimore, and we shouldn't have had that result. That's not this team. It's just not. If it was, I wouldn't be so emotional.
The Yankees are better than the Yankees have played better and have given the fans much more of a reason to expect better out of them than the way they performed today, mainly.
Yes.
So look, you can again, you want to sit there and okay, whatever you guys. I'm not telling anybody how to fan. You want to say, "Damn, we almost got him." Okay. I. Oh wow. Hello. Banged
What'd
on
you
the desk.
do?
I hit the desk.
Wow.
Can you hear me? You hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
But what I'm looking at is that the Yankees are 2-5 against the Baltimore Orioles. The reason why the Yankees are behind the Orioles in the loss column is because they're 2-5 against the Orioles. So that is what matters to me right now. Okay. The Yankees can go out there and they can go on a run and win 8 out of the next 10, and you could start feeling a lot better about them again. But what's going to happen when they have to play the Orioles again? Are they prepared to face the Orioles? That's what matters. I don't think this year we're going to sit here and say, how did the Yankees get themselves ready to face the Astros? Now we have to sit here and say to ourselves, how do the Yankees get themselves ready to face the Orioles? The Orioles, to me, are the team that are going to keep the Yankees from the World Series in the American League.
And is it just me, or I know they're great. The Orioles are fucking amazing. But it's almost like the Yankees play worse against them than, like, I don't feel like the Orioles are that much better than the Yankees as the Yankees have played them. Does that make sense?
Say that again.
Like, okay, the Yankees are 2-5 against
Right.
them.
Okay.
To me, they're not 2-5 caliber against the Orioles. I think the Yankees are much better than that.
No, they shouldn't be 2-5. I mean,
I think the Yankees have played down against them.
I don't know how you want to say played down when I think Baltimore overall is better than the Yankees.
No. I'm saying played down like against what they're capable of. The Yankees have not played up to their standards against the Orioles.
No, I think that's a fair statement. They haven't played up to what we feel their standards are.
It should be much more even than it has been. And I'm not saying, and again, I'm not saying the Orioles aren't a better team. I think they deserve the credit of that because of the record.
You know, the Yankees have a losing record in the American League East. That's also not a good sign.
That's a problem. It's a big problem.
Those are the teams you're going to face the most.
Yeah.
So, look, at the end of the day here, am I concerned about the Yankees in terms of them missing the postseason? Like some people, no. I mean, you're just, I don't even want to say the insult that you are if you think the Yankees are missing the postseason this year.
Let's say this: if the Yankees miss the postseason, there have been catastrophic injuries that I don't even want to fathom.
Look,
or just don't watch this team anymore, because if this team can't make the postseason, there's no hope.
They brought this up on Boomer and Gio this morning, and aside from Boomer admitting that he lies about watching the Yankees, okay, they did bring up a good point. You had your 3 best players all faced with situations where you thought you were pretty fucked in all 3 of them.
Yes.
Gerrit Cole's back on the mound. Aaron Judge missed 1 game. Juan Soto missed 3.
Yep.
that maybe things are a little bit different just in that regard.
Yes,
Because
agreed.
in other seasons,
They're out for the year. All three of them.
let's bring up Aaron Judge real quick because it's been a topic of conversation. Look, the Yankees did avoid a major catastrophe on Tuesday night with Judge just missing Wednesday's game, um, because Mookie Betts pretty much got hit in the same exact spot. He's out 8 weeks. Uh, Look, could the Yankees have used Aaron Judge yesterday? Obviously, they could have used Aaron Judge yesterday. It probably might have tilted the game in their favor had he been there, taking an at bat with the bases loaded instead of fucking Jemai Jones. But you know, the point of the matter is that you're going to disagree with me, and that's fine. I don't. You can have your opinion. People in the chat can have their opinion. Were the Yankees probably being precautious yesterday? Yeah, probably. But also, we don't know how Aaron Judge felt yesterday. The adrenaline's probably still rolling through him when he tells Boone he's playing on Tuesday night. And then you go to bed, it swells, it's sore. You don't know how he feels. Again, late in the game, can he take an at bat? We don't know. We don't know. We can sit there and say he should have taken the at bat. Okay, but we don't know. And then you say, how does he feel better overnight? How do you know what
I
they
said that.
other people have said it?
It's
How do,
it's the truth.
but how do you know what the Yankees gave him, the doctors gave him? Maybe it didn't it clears up overnight. You don't know the swelling goes down. I'm just saying there's a lot of it's not as cut and dry as a lot of people are making it out to be.
Fair. And that's
And
why
yes, it can change overnight.
okay, it really can't. If you can't swing a bat 12 hours before, but then you miraculously can
Okay.
the next
Again,
day, you could have taken a big at bat.
doctor.
But why fight over that right now? Let's fight about this. Why is Jemai Jones coming up in that spot?
Who is
Why not just leave Grisham?
okay, lefty, I guess.
I don't care.
Okay, well that's the
What is
Yankees.
Jemai Jones? Jemai Jones is nothing more than a pinch runner.
Okay, but you're saying why Jemai Jones? If they don't want Grisham facing the lefty,
My point is, if you're going to make a move and it's not going to be Judge there, why make a move at all? Why? What's
okay?
that? Hold on. You want to say lefty, righty? Because again, you're just in this moment of what the Yankees make you want to feel.
Did they feel that Jemai Jones had a better situation? Maybe
Why? It's Jemai Jones,
and it's Trent Grisham.
but Trent Grisham has fallen into a couple. Like, yeah, Jemai Jones had one big home run, but my point is, over the last few games Trent Grisham played, he at least got into a couple, and he's a lefty who could put one over the porch.
Right.
Why are we pinch hitting him there?
I guess you'd have to sit there and look at what his splits are against lefties.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's really to me, Grisham, Jemai Jones doesn't matter. If you're not going to pinch hit Judge there, why do anything? Like, and again, I'm not going to fight it. You're right. I don't know what Judge was feeling, so why fight it? All I'm saying, it's just a little suspect. It just seems like, and I'm fine with it. If this is the case, if the Yankees came out and said Judge probably could have swung a bat last night, swung. Judge probably could have swung a bat last night, but we just wanted to give him a full day. Fine. I'm not going to sit here and fight him. I think the Yankees have done a really good job for the first time in a long time managing these players. And if he's just going to miss one game, it is what it is.
The injuries to Judge and Soto were highlighted because they were against the Dodgers and the Orioles when a lot of people were watching. So if they were playing the Chicago White Sox last night, there's no real debate. Even if the Yankees lose that game and Jemai Jones is still taking in that bat with the bases loaded when the Yankees are trailing by a run or whatever it was at that situation. But because it was the Orioles, it gets exacerbated. Because Soto missed the series against the Dodgers, the same thing, people make a bigger deal out of it. It was a series against the Marlins, who, whatever, he missed the series. We have to also understand that it is still June. right? We want the Yankees to win every game. We want the Yankees especially to win every game against their division rivals, but also, you know, you got to be smart about these things when you have 90 games plus the postseason still to go. That's my whole that's another part of my point. Maybe he could have taken it, but if he's telling, Yankees are seeing it's still a little swollen, he can't grip it as tight, whatever. Let's not chance anything right now.
I agree. Fair enough. Like I said, I'm not going to nitpick in that sense.
I would really hope that the Yankees don't lose the division over a game that Aaron Judge had to miss. But if it is, it is. I mean, but again, if he then that causes him to be healthy, and he looked pretty good today, and he is Aaron Judge the rest of the way and into the postseason. I mean, what are you going to do?
Can we talk about something positive real quick?
Yeah, 1 second, because somebody brought up Thurman Munson, and then because it had me a conversation I was in yesterday, and somebody said, well, Judge should ask Jeter about getting hit in the hand. And I looked it up. Remember the infamous game where Pedro Martinez hit Derek Jeter in the hand, and he hit Alfonso Soriano?
Yes.
Derek Jeter didn't play the next day.
Yeah.
He had a pinch hit appearance.
Mm-hmm. Which is what Judge should have had.
Could have had. Maybe.
Should've.
Again, we don't know.
In a day where we don't baby guys, he should have. But again, not going to sit here and act like I know what he was going through. All I'm saying is we baby players.
If Thurman Munson was so tough, why'd he die in a plane crash?
That's fucked up. It's pretty fucked up. Let's talk about something positive.
Come on, it was right there to be had.
That's fucked up.
And Thurman was my dad's favorite player, so I'm not gonna.
Bobby Mercer was my dad's favorite.
I have an affinity for Thurman because of that. So I love Thurman, but I mean,
that's fucked up. Let's talk about something positive for 1 second.
Well, let's close the show on this here because Gerrit Cole's back, and I don't know what you want to exactly talk about here. You don't think he should have come back, but I don't.
I was just saying something positive. Did it cut out in your ear?
No, I heard what you said.
I want to just say one quick thing positive before we close out. How great was that Verdugo play?
Which one?
The one last night in center field.
Oh, yeah, it was amazing.
Dude,
in center field, for sure.
Anyone who argues with me that Verdugo's not a good outfielder can go screw.
I can't apologize to my father. He's in the same place Thurman Munson is.
Okay, now we're fucking really just all right. Talk about Cole. I just wanted to bring up. I think Verdugo, really deserved a shout out because that was just fucking unreal. Someone's bringing up Corey Lytle now.
Yeah, Corey Lytle flew a plane into a building.
Dude, I was actually at the Yankee game when that happened. I believe it was the Yankee game where Chien-Ming Wang was on the verge of throwing a no-hitter. It was the 7th inning, and I believe that's when I got word that Corey Lytle flew the plane into.
That's right. Roy Halladay died in a plane crash too, and he was also
a lot of planes, dude.
He was coked up too.
He was coked up, dude. Oh, if you're gonna go out coked up.
I never thought skiing on a plane was a good idea, but Roy Halladay did.
Dude.
Pete, what are you doing, buddy?
Pete, how many times are you gonna listen to Welcome to the Jungle? All right, talk about Cole.
Kobe too. Kobe and that was a real tragedy.
Okay.
That was a real tragedy.
It really was. I fucking love Kobe.
That was terrible. I mean, little kids died in that shit. That was not. All right, let's get off plane crashes here, okay?
Please.
There's no need for this. Anyway, yeah, Alex Verdugo. I mean, that's just to say that real quick. Anybody that was like, oh, we should have blah, blah, blah for Dominguez. First of all, he's going to be out 8 weeks. But when you brought up Alex Verdugo, I was like, do you guys not watch him play the outfield?
I mean, that play was, and the only reason why I brought it up, when that ball came off the bat, you thought there was no chance in hell. And he tracks that down and flies into the wall. It was,
thank you, Uncle Dom.
For me, one of the best plays I've seen a center fielder make in the context of where the game was at that point. that I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I think Alex Verdugo is going to be a beast in the postseason with the bat too. I think he just loves the moment, so I'm not worried about him at all. But anyway, here we go with Gerrit Cole back yesterday. Gave the Yankees 4+ innings, got tagged for 2 runs. The second one doesn't count because Boone's an asshole. Here's my problem with what happened yesterday is that if you're going to, and Gerrit Cole went in after the 4th inning and told Boone one more, right? Okay. He has every right to do that. He's Gerrit Cole. If he wants one more, he's getting one more. But if you're going to do that, you don't let if you're so concerned about him where you don't want to elevate the pitch count on this start, you want to wait to the next one. Fine. And I said this, whatever the plan is the plan, because I'm just happy to have Gerrit Cole back in here and pitching, right? So whatever gets him to be fully Gerrit Cole without any setbacks, I'm with you on that. I really am. And maybe I wouldn't be with other guys, but because he's Gerrit Cole and that's my guy, I'm willing to ride the train on this one, right? But if you're so concerned about Gerrit Cole, why do you make him get up and warm up to throw one pitch? One. I don't care what happened on the pitch. He gave up a single. I don't care if that ball went 700 feet and he hit it to Queens. Let him get the next batter. At least make it worth him throwing that one pitch.
Because what was their big concern with Cole when he was rehabbing? Was it his pitches or was it recovering after an inning? Why have him come back out for one fucking pitch?
That's my whole point.
And
Why
then be concerned about a pitch count. Makes 0 sense.
Either because you have to know in the back of your mind that that is a possibility that he can throw one pitch to one batter. So it's either he doesn't come out for the 5th or you let him get the second batter. At least let him throw to another batter in that inning.
We're an hour and 15 minutes in. So I don't want to go into what I feel. I thought the whole start was idiotic. I really do.
Well, I think that's an idiotic take, to be honest.
No, it's not. Here's why. He threw 67 pitches in his last rehab start.
Okay.
Now, your argument, because you love this team so much, is
what I said.
Is they weren't going to let him throw more than that, even if he had another rehab start.
Which is what they said.
Okay.
We assumed that he was going to throw 80 pitches.
If they're going to gaslight you like that, and you're going to believe it, which is dumb, because if he stayed in a rehab start, they would definitely let him throw more than that.
Debatable.
It makes 0 sense to have him come back and only throw 62 pitches. 0. I would much rather, just like we're going to say,
this is the absolute
just like we're going to say,
take.
It's just June, right? It's just June. The Yankees will be fine. If I'm the Yankees, if I'm only letting him throw less pitches than he threw in his last rehab start, let him have another rehab start then.
Nope.
If you're telling me he's not at 75 to 80 pitches, it's idiotic.
It's not idiotic.
It is.
Bro.
It is. You want to know why? Because you're the same fucking guy, right? You're the same fucking guy who just ripped the bullpen, right? But you're cool with Cole coming up and only throwing 60 pitches and going back to the bullpen.
Yeah, I am, because you want to know why.
Because you love this team so much, you just look through the bullshit.
No, I'm not, because what would have been the alternative yesterday?
I don't care. Here's the alternative. Cole gets more pitches down in a rehab start to come back and be a real starter.
He is a real starter.
No, he's not. That was 60 fucking pitches.
I don't care. I would have taken him back if he had 15 pitches yesterday. The Yankees need him more at the major league level than they need him fucking jerking around in Scranton.
Major league level for what? 4 innings?
Okay, Chris, let's have Anthony Misevich fucking start the ball.
I don't care.
No, you do care, because I'm going to tell you right now.
Here's the equivalent. Do you want Dominguez up as a bench player?
This is a completely different
No,
argument.
it's not. You want to know why?
It is a completely different argument.
Because what's your counter argument? If Dominguez isn't hurt, of course, why don't you want him on the bench?
Why? So he could play twice a week?
But why? What's he doing in the minor leagues?
What is he doing in the minor leagues?
Developing.
Okay.
Okay. Cole is in a developmental stage right now.
There's a huge difference
if you're
between
telling
letting
me Cole's not going to develop on the major league level, if you're telling me if this isn't an extension of his rehab, then it's fucking pointless.
There is a difference between Gerrit Cole taking the ball every 5 days at the major league level while not being built up, and Jason Dominguez playing twice a week.
But we're not talking about a buildup. We're talking about a regression. He threw 62 pitches. That's not a buildup, Christian.
I agree. It was stupid to let him come out and throw one pitch yesterday. They should have let him throw to more batters. I'm not disagreeing with that. But I'm telling you, the 4 innings that he threw yesterday were way more valuable to the team in the fucking Bronx than it would have been in fucking playing the yard goats again. You can't convince anybody.
Not if you can tell me his next start will be at 95 to 100 pitches.
I hope he throws 12 pitches next start and they pull him for precautionary reasons just so you can sound even more ridiculous.
Because I don't let my love for this team and seeing Cole in pinstripes cloud my judgment of what is right.
What is right is that if he said he wants
him
to
not
throw
throwing
against
less
the
pitches.
He wants to pitch. He's pitching. End of story. The Yankees don't need him taking more rehab outings against AAA hitters. He looked fine yesterday.
Which is why he should have thrown more pitches yesterday to get stretched back out.
We're not
than he did in his last rehab start.
But all I'm saying to you is that if that was still the plan to let him throw 65 pitches, I'd rather him do it here than in the minor leagues.
But that's where you're getting gaslit and you're feeding into it.
No, I'm not getting gaslit.
He would have thrown 85 easily in the minors if he took another start.
That's what you say.
No, that's what I'm telling you.
Because
what's the point of a rehab?
Assumed him.
No.
We all assumed
What's the
that
point
he was
of a
going to throw
rehab?
80.
The reason why they brought him up and kept him at 60 to 65 is because they're assuming his adrenaline of being back in a major league game is going to carry him further than if he's throwing a minor league rehab start. But my point is, if he stays in the minor leagues, they don't think that way. They let him throw 85 pitches, and then his next start, he can be at 95 to 100. Now, what the Yankees have done is they've delayed that. They've made him regress, really, or keep him stagnant, where his next time out, they're going to tell you he's only going to throw 75.
Don't care. Rather him do it up here than down
there. Fine. And guess what? Then you also can't argue that the bullpen sucks.
No, I can't argue that
the same argument.
Okay, so who's going to take the
then he's going to be out in 4 or 5 innings, Christian.
Because you got 1 1/3 innings out of Luis Gil today, so he's probably cooked. You got Clark Schmidt on the IL. You got your 7th guy now. Excuse me. Cody Petit's on the IL. Who's taking the ball, genius? Who's taking the ball?
I don't care. I want Cole to come back and either be progressing in his rehab or to come back ready. And what he did was regress. You can't argue that. So what?
Okay. So
now I get 75. So now his next time out, he's 5 innings. And who's coming out? Gonzalez?
You'd rather than punt the game from the jump where they have to go opener with Anthony Michevis,
but bro,
right?
They lost
instead of trying
anyway.
To get 4 to 5 innings out. That's irrelevant to the point.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Because you're looking at the final destination over what the right answer is. And the right answer is that even if he gave you 4 innings, that was still the right thing to do, is to let Gerrit Cole start the game yesterday.
No, the right answer is to build Cole back up to where he needs to be, and that's the opposite of what they did.
And I'm telling you, I agree that
there's
it was
no
stupid
argument
to let him throw 1 pitch in the 5th inning yesterday.
So they should have let him throw 10 to 15. Correct?
They should have at least let him throw one more batter. I'm not disagreeing with that. They should have let him
go 75 to 80 pitches.
But all I'm telling you is that I don't care if there's what still was their plan to let him throw 65. Those 65 pitches are more valuable to the Yankees than they are to the fucking Scranton Rail Riders, and you cannot disagree with that. And if you are, you're just saying that shit to be argumentative.
All I'm telling you is you're a fool, and I love you, but you're a fool if you honestly think if he stayed in the minor leagues, he would only throw 65 pitches in his next start.
All I'm
So
telling you is that.
So tell me why. Hold on before we
Okay.
wrap up the show. Just
Okay.
tell me this. Ready? Because again, we could do this with almost everything in our culture at this point.
Okay.
Let's just follow the evidence here. What did he
Right.
throw his first time out on the mound in the minor leagues?
He was in the 40s.
Okay, what did he throw his next time out?
I don't think he was much above that.
Oh, yes, he was.
What did he throw?
Like 60. Oh, sorry, 67. Oh, no, that was his third time. Right?
I don't have it.
How
in
many
front of
minor
me.
league starts did he have?
He had 3.
I think he was 55 his second time. 67 his next time. 57 his second time. 67 his third time. So his fourth time he'd be at 62? No.
Again, I did not say that I agreed with them letting him throw to one batter in the 5th inning. That was ridiculous for them to do that. If they're trying to be conservative with him, you don't let him warm up to throw to one pitch.
But my point is, you still would have been okay if he doesn't come out in that inning at all, right?
I would have been more okay with him not coming out than them letting him warm up to throw one pitch.
Right. So it's not about the pitch count for you. It's about how they handled it.
Yeah, I think it was pretty stupid for them to do something like
Let
that.
me ask you one more question. He gets that batter out. Does he stay out there?
I think he does.
Oh, okay. And he gets that next batter out. Does he stay out there?
Depends on where the pitch count is. I don't think they.
Okay. Right? So he had more than 62 as far as the Yankees are concerned. As far as you're concerned.
As far as I'm concerned, I think he could have, but I also don't know what the plan is.
So my point is, he had more than 62, and the Yankees probably would have handled it accordingly. And so we can fight here all we want. I loved seeing Gerrit Cole up there.
But if you're telling me,
I'd rather him pitch pointless innings to build himself back up.
No.
Well, then you're just ridiculous.
No, I'm not being ridiculous because you want the Yankees to let them.
Because in the same breath, you tell me how bad the bullpen is. So
right.
You can't tell me
think
you
about
want a
how
guy...
bad the bullpen would have been had he not been there to take those 4 innings yesterday.
No, sorry. You can't sit here and fight me
and
tell me you want a guy to throw 60 pitches.
No, listen, bro, you can't sit there and say that I can't just because you want to win an argument. Two things.
I don't care about winning any argument.
No, 2 things can be true at the same time.
No.
That the bullpen is terrible, and also Gerrit Cole needs to be able can take 4 innings at the major league level because who's taking the start yesterday, Chris? Who's taking the start yesterday?
It's not about who's taking the start as much as it is Gerrit Cole being ready to at least progress. And he didn't progress yesterday.
Well, they didn't handle that part well.
Yeah,
I'll agree with you on that. But regardless of that, if that was still their plan to keep him around 65,
that's where the argument starts. It wasn't. That wasn't. When is that ever the plan to keep a guy where he's at in a rehab assignment? When is that ever in what world do you live in where that has ever been the plan? Never. Never, ever, ever. Have you ever saw a starting pitcher rehab and say the plan is keep him exactly where he's at? You're letting them fucking lie to you. That would not have been the plan if he stayed in the minor leagues. End of story. I've never seen one guy
You think he was throwing 100 pitches in the minor leagues?
I think he would have gotten up to 85 for sure.
Maybe.
And I expected that to be where he'd be at in the majors. And even if he got fucking shelled, if he can have been stretched out to 85, I'm fine with it. So for me, I'm not mad that he's here. I'm not mad. I'm not arguing with you of it would have been worse if it had to be a bullpen game.
Let me ask you this question.
My biggest gripe with all of this is that he didn't get the progression that we wanted him to.
Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
65 at the major league level or 80 in AAA. Well, you tell me what's more important to this team right now.
80.
Yeah, you're just being ridiculous.
They lost anyway, so what's more important?
You're looking at the end result. The end result is irrelevant to the conversation.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is because Gerrit Cole being back on this team is more important right now.
In what sense? They lost.
in the sense
How can you
that
make that argument? They have the best pitching in baseball. They lost.
they don't have the best pitching in baseball. You want to talk about people being gaslit. You're being gaslit saying they have the best pitching in baseball.
I'm saying up
When
to
any-
this weekend, they
anybody
have.
watching them knows for certain they don't have the best pitching in baseball.
The most important thing the Yankees can do is to allow him to progress at where he's supposed to be.
Look, if the Yankees
and they
said,
did
okay,
the opposite.
if the Yankees said, okay, you can go to AAA and throw 80, or you can come up here and throw 65. Again, I wasn't in the room. I don't know what was said. Gerrit Cole, myself, and everybody that has a brain in their head is going to tell you and should tell you that 65 here is more important than 80 in AAA.
Okay.
Gerrit Cole is here, and that's all that matters.
Then they lost 2 out of 3.
That's not his fault.
Okay.
Now you're going to blame him now.
No.
Laughing at your wife.
What'd she do? Oh, God.
I'm not letting my love for Cole cloud my judgment, okay? Because the Yankees, you also have to look at this from a logical baseball perspective. You don't want Gerrit Cole to start because he's only got 65 pitches. Fine. Okay. When Anthony Mishevitz comes up there and has to throw two and a third innings, and then you go like we basically saw today. Really? Is that what you guys really wanted?
What? What'd they say?
What?
Who are you talking about?
Well, somebody said I'm letting my love for Cole cloud my judgment. I'm also looking at it from logical baseball perspective.
Yeah, no, I agree with that person. And I love you and respect you. And
But
I've said that twice.
With Cody Petit on the IL, what do you want the Yankees to do?
It's not the
Listen,
point,
just
dude.
stop. Just listen to me for 1 second. Then
All
we
right,
can
I will.
wrap up the show here, okay?
All right, please.
Gerrit, we know we really should get you up to 80, but
we're not gonna.
we're not gonna. You can throw 65 pitches.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say that's the scenario, right? Okay.
Okay.
Boom.
Boom.
Garrett's like, okay, maybe I want to do it, but whatever. Okay.
Yeah. Great.
Cody Petit goes on the IL. You've already committed Gerrit Cole to stay in AAA. What are you going to do? What are you doing yesterday?
That's when the priority shifts to Cole just getting his progression in.
I love anybody watching the show tonight, so I love you too, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's been fun.
listen, here's the point. The Yankees, think about how bad today was, right? Think about how bad today was.
Awful. Disgusting.
That they had to get, they had to get 23 outs out of this bullpen, which they didn't. They got 20 because Jose Trevino had to finish the game.
Okay.
Now think about that. Had they not gotten 12 outs out of Gerrit Cole yesterday?
Did Trevino throw harder to the plate than he did?
No, he was in
base?
he was in the 60s. He at least reaches 71. All I'm saying is Gerrit Cole is back. Let's not have this argument again because I'm going to lose my fucking mind if he doesn't get into at least close to 80 in his next start.
He should be beyond that.
Quiet for a second, huh?
85 to 90.
He's not gonna. Okay, let's get him there. But if the Yankees are pulling him with 65 pitches again, I'm gonna find
62.
I'm gonna find Darren Boone.
5 pitches less than he threw his last start. So
I'm agreeing.
talk
with
about
you there.
rehabbing.
I'm agreeing with you there. Is that it was completely stupid for them to let him come out and throw one pitch. Cut him at 4 or let him go.
Yep. Agreed.
And what really pissed me off about what they did there is that the last 2 innings there, Gerrit Cole found himself.
He was filthy. He looked like Gerrit Cole.
Gerrit Cole
watch some other idiot come out and give up his run really sucked.
It was Ron Marinaccio who sucks again.
It sucks.
But It took Gerrit Cole 2 innings to find himself. And that, for more than anything, if I'm Aaron Boone and I'm asking him, how do you feel? And he's telling me one more, it doesn't mean I got one more pitch, you jerk off.
No, it means give me one more inning.
So
if the next guy gets on and then you want to start to say maybe he's fatigued, the adrenaline took him this far, fine. But one batter and then you're pulling him for Ron Marinaccio, a guy who could have been dead for all you guys cared in the minor leagues. Now he's back up and now you're replacing him for Gerrit Cole at 62 pitches makes zero sense.
And that's the same thing that they did with him in the 2022 ALCS. Like, yeah, he was in trouble there, but he's also
Right,
Gerrit
who
Cole.
came
And
in?
You went to Lou Trevino in that spot.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
Dumb.
You might as well just forfeited the rest of the series at that point, which they
Yeah.
basically did. But anyway, look, it's been a very contentious episode. But when the Yankees get their asses handed to them, 17-5 in a game that they absolutely have to win to at least prove a point to us that they are on the same level as the Orioles, that's going to happen.
That's what
Okay.
you're gonna get.
So we want to thank everybody that's been in the chat tonight. We love you guys. Thank you for supporting us. The Yankees are going to take on the Atlanta Braves next here. Excuse me. And the Braves are not going to be sending slouches to the mound here because it starts 7:05 tomorrow. I believe this is an Apple TV game, so everybody get triggered. Yes, it is Apple TV. No, yes. Which, by the way, was it the Dodgers game that was Apple TV? And then they put it on yes. It was never.
It was both. Yeah.
It was never supposed to be on yes. Somebody made a big deal.
It was Dodgers. Yeah.
Somebody said that game needed to be broadcast regionally for some, and they got it. But this one is not available on yes. It's going to be on
exclusive
to Apple TV. Which the thing that really sucks about that is that I don't want to listen to Emmanuel Barbary call this fucking game, so I'm
Ugh.
gonna have to sit there and listen to the Apple
Yeah.
TV announcers. But good pitching matchup here. Carlos Rodon, who needs to bounce back after getting his ass kicked in Boston, is going to be on the mound for Yankees against Chris Sale, who's having a resurgent season here. 2.98 ERA for Chris Sale. He's back to being the Cy Young that he was in Boston here. And then 7:15. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not expecting John Smoltz to be even remotely objective in this fucking game here.
No.
Because it's 7:15 Fox. Charlie Martin, who always gives the Yankees fits against Marcus Stroman, who again is another guy.
So the Yankees again aren't on during the day on a Saturday.
No, this is their third consecutive national televised game on Saturday here. But don't worry, they'll be on at 3:00 next Saturday, the following Saturday. Okay.
Okay.
But no Sunday night baseball, thank Christ, because it'll be 1:35 to wrap up the series. Max Fried, again, another tough pitcher against Home Nestor. Okay, Home Nestor.
I'll be there.
Are you going
my
to game
wife and
Saturday?
kids? Yeah.
Okay. Home
Okay.
Nestor. And our Kev from Bronx or None wants me to acknowledge Nestor Cortez. Road Nestor sucks. Home Nestor
Home
good.
Nestor's an ace.
Good.
No, he's an ace.
No, he's good.
He's good.
That's as far as I'll go.
Okay.
But we want to thank everybody that's been in the chat tonight. Sorry if we got a little wild, but not really. Hopefully the Yankees can rebound here. They got to win a series here against the Atlanta Braves. You don't want to drop 3 straight series now, because then you really start looking at a team that's slumping right now. And are they regressing?
Yeah.
And all this other
Right.
shit. And now the questions are really going to start to be asked about how good are the Yankees. And we don't want those questions to be asked.
No.
Our next episode is Monday night. It will be live here on NYY Underground. It will be our 400th episode. I don't want to be fucking miserable. I want it to be a celebration of not only the show, but the Yankees rebounding and showing a little bit of life here against a good team in the Atlanta Braves. Okay. So make sure you join us Monday night. We'll be back live here at 8:30 for our 400th episode. So make sure you join us there. Please make sure you're subscribed to NYY Underground on YouTube. Like this video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe. Make sure you're in the stadium September 14th for NYYU Day. Okay. Thank you very much for being in the chat all night tonight. We ran especially long, but you know what? Sometimes we just have to yell at each other. Okay.
That's it.
Make sure you are subscribed to the NYYST podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Like I said, earlier in the show, we do have audio exclusive shows throughout the course of the year. So make sure you don't miss anything. And you won't if you are subscribed. Make sure you're telling everybody the NYYST podcast is the official Yankees podcast of Odyssey. Okay, so we want to thank everybody for the continued support of NYYU and NYYST. We want to thank everybody for listening and watching episode 399. Chris, say goodbye.
It's heavy.
Yeah, I gotta keep it trendy on my soul. I'm the most selfish person that I know. Here we go, down the rabbit hole. Got a couple carrots around my neck. Self-respect, when you out of line, you put yourself in check. They don't hear me, they don't hear me though. Cycles going round and round and round like a merry-go. Stand for truth, or fall for any old scenario. That's why I keep my circle smaller than a Cheerio. Cause this the company you keep. Stay woke, please don't get caught sleep. End up sowing what you reap. Know your worth and don't sell cheap. The ghost is inside of me, can't take it out of me. No matter where I've been, it's about where I'm meant to be. I be shining purple.